Hello and welcome to everybody that tunes in here every now and then to hear me speak. Today, of course, here in Massachusetts, it's a Cinco de Mayo. But needless to say, it's in Ireland, it's a much more important day than that. Today, 44 years ago, Bobby Sands, after a long, cruel, torturous death, came to an end. And it was a different time. I remember there was serious riots involved up in Dublin. The day of the big riot up there, I was in the city centre myself. I did not go out to Ball's Bridge where the more serious violence took place. But even in the city centre, it was very, very dangerous. The men in Dublin that day are quite different from the men that was in Dublin on recent times. Those guys in Dublin 44 years ago, they weren't beaten around the bush. It was some occasion that. But anyway, wanted to start it off by paying homage to Bobby Sands. I believe he would be very shocked and dismayed if he was around today to see what his sacrifice produced and how his death was sold for 30 pieces of silver. Anyway, moving on from that, I have a bit of good news indeed, and that is that I finally came across three fantastic speakers in all the protests that I've watched, or as many of them as I could have anyway. They, believe it or not, were up there in Carrickmacross over the weekend. A local fellow unknown by me and unknown by most, I guess, because I was watching it on a video produced by Philip Dwyer and he didn't know him either. But the man's name is Paul Carville. And again, I'm assuming he's a local fellow up there. But he made a fantastic speech. And I finally got to hear somebody talking some serious common sense. He also was followed by, or maybe preceded by, two other absolute true men indeed. And that was the ex-guard, John Wilson. I also saw him being interviewed briefly later on by the McConnell fellow, Niall McConnell fellow up there in Donegal. And that fellow is another genuine man. And then Councillor Traynor also did a fantastic speech. It's well worth watching all three, or maybe there's more to it that I didn't see, but that particular rally seems to have been worthwhile indeed. Now, the other two rallies, in my opinion, had really no focus to them whatsoever. The Dublin rally produced 50,000 people and raised their spirits and gave them encouragement. That was the positive. But it was the same old rhetoric that we have been listening to now since God only knows how long. Also, we've discussed the fact that it was restricted to four people. Those four people indeed had a good day because their votes would have greatly increased. And perhaps their objective is to get into Dáil Éireann, and that's a good objective indeed. But for the common cause in this time of turmoil, the bigger picture has to be looked into. I would suggest that if a similar protest is going to be held again, drawing another 50,000 people, it'd be much more beneficial to have each of the 50,000 people donate the €100 that they would have spent on that day travelling from Kerry or God knows where, and come up with a total of €5 million and purchase maybe four of these small hotels or whatever that's been now used in IPAS in places like Knock and Castlebar and Bundoran, and I think it's Bundoran that I saw talk of 70 Somalian refugees being put into some hotel up there or whatever. That would be much more useful and much more beneficial to the common cause. Now, I also watched the rally down in Letterkenny. I was disappointed in that too because for the life of me, I could not figure out what the purpose of all the speeches were from start to finish. The the only rousing little piece of oration I saw down there was when the piper played his pipes and then ad-libbed about persecution of Catholics back in the 1650s in the Cromwellian times. That was unscripted and it was not planned, but it overshadowed everything else that I saw anyway, because that guy was knowledgeable and it was uplifting indeed. That. So those are the three protests. I won't be talking too much anymore about them. I certainly will not be promoting protests from this point on, because I think now they have ran their course. With one exception, of course, and that is the one proposed by John Malloy, which is on the 16th day of July. That one is worth promoting because it has a clear, laid out objective that has a reasonable chance of producing reasonable results indeed. It's well thought out, it has an objective, it's not the same old, same old. So that would be an exception. As regards the other protests, I think they should be refined now. They should be just left to local people. And if the local people do not have enough gumption to go out and support their own local area, outsiders really cannot alter the situation as far as they are concerned at all. Now, with regards to these speeches, I will just finish it up. There is a serious lack of reality involved in many of these speakers that I have listened to. Every single one of them seems to repeat a variation of the old, we do not want unvetted people coming into this country. That is enough to make my hair grey. Because, for example, I mentioned the Somalians coming in to Bundoran there a minute or two ago. Somalia is a place with absolutely no government whatsoever. Its functioning political system is described as anarchy, which does not mean confusion and disruption and chaos. It means a lack of government institutions. There is no such thing as vetting and unvetting when it comes to Somalia. The vast majority of other countries de facto have no such thing as vetting and unvetting either, because for $100 you can buy whatever police report you need for that situation. So people will really need to just quit this foolishness talking about unvetted and vetted people, because there is no such thing. Also, people will have to just stop talking about legal immigration and illegal immigration. Again, there's no such thing as illegal immigration into Ireland de facto, because everybody is allowed to stay by simply claiming refugee asylum. There is no such thing as legal against illegal. Even if there was, it would just vary the rate of influx of different cultures into Ireland, none of which have any inclination to assimilate into Irish culture in any particular shape or form at all. It's complete and utter insanity. So that is how I see things. Now, I have a little bit of a group and a little bit of following. It's called the Common Sense Party. My intention is to hopefully have people set up a party and let them run with it. The advantage of that is there is no leadership as such at all. And if they are, they're just regular people that spring up. It's not me. I'm just going to put it together and be on my merry way, because that'll be my job. Well done. Anyway, this is just a short video. If people want to help out in that situation, we do have a Facebook page, we do have a website, and we do have WhatsApp and whatnot. Anyway, that is just my video. I'll be doing different types of videos going forward. Thank you very much for watching.